You saw the elevator video. This is another great situation where there's a lot of distracting elements. There's a blue color cast, and we need to tweak it for whatever design or promotional piece we're going to use. So I'm going to hit Command or Control J just to protect my background layer. And what do we need to do? Well, first I want to get rid of that color cast. So grab the levels adjustment layer, and we haven't shown you this yet. This is a bonus. Click the gray eyedropper, one in the middle. Click it, and then click in an area that should be gray. So obviously on this white top, this should be gray. Now watch what happens. It's so blue, it's going to recalibrate it, make it look more warm and normal. Look how good that looks. I mean, that looks like their actual skin color. That's how you quickly color correct some kind of white balance problem. So now what do we need to do? Well, for me, all these lights are very distracting, so I'm going to click on that duplicated background layer. I'm going to click on the spot healing brush tool where you paint over an object and Photoshop just removes it. Right bracket key to make my brush a little bigger. I'm going to get rid of this light. I'm going to get rid of this light. I'm going to get rid of this light. Remember, your eye goes to the brightest part, so get rid of it. That was bad. Hit Command Z. I might leave that for now. I fix the one above his hair. I don't think I like these ID badges. Zoom in, Command Spacebar. So this isn't going to work so well. So I'm going to hit S for the clone stamp tool, left bracket key. And the way this works is you have to hold down the Alt or Option key and choose a source point. So I'm going to choose right here. And I'm going to paint left bracket key to make my brush a little smaller. And you can click and shift click and it'll paint a straight line. Now, is that perfect right here? No, because this edge is a little harder, so I can make my brush smaller to get that. And I'll click, hold the shift key, holding the shift key just for a little bit straighter line so it looks more believable. There we go, we've camouflaged that. Command 0, maybe I would go back to the spot healing brush, a little spot on the floor. I don't like that little thing. I don't like this lock. I don't like that blue thing back there. I don't like the green thing right here. But okay, we're in the ballpark, right? So let's crop it. I think that's going to simplify the composition. I'm going to get rid of the static line right here. Here's before. Here's where we are. Quickly retouch. Now we just need to fine tune the difference between the people and the elevator. Give it a little drama. I'm going to go to the very top layer, Command Option Shift letter E. And then I'm going to duplicate that layer. And let's go with blend modes. Multiply, screen, overlay. All right, so I like the overlay and soft light on the elevator, but I think I like the screen on the people. So I'm going to choose soft light. There we go. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn that off for a second, come back to this layer, Command J it again, and choose screen. So I like the people here, right? Maybe it's a little too much. So the volume's always at 100%, remember? So maybe pull it down. Something around 53, 55, just to make them a little brighter. Then turn back on the layer that had the overlay blend mode, select it, or soft light blend mode. Overlay and soft light are the same contrast feature where it enhances contrast and color saturation. Just soft light does it at about half the strength. So I'm going to add a layer mask by clicking on the layer mask icon, B for brush, make sure I'm painting with black on this white mask. I'm at normal, 48%. I'm actually going to drag that to 100%. Right bracket key, because I don't want the overlay to apply to their faces, right? I want them to be a little brighter. And actually I can hit Command or Control J, and that even further enhance that. And maybe I even want to go on the second one and choose multiply. So let's see where we are. Here's where we started. Alt or Option key, click on the very background eyeball. And that fast, we have totally retouched this image, fixed a lot of problems, and made it so it's a bit more interesting. Now look at it. What stands out to you? Bothering me is I don't like this little line right here on the left, and I don't like how bright this white area is right here, because again, our eye's going to go to the brightest part. So I'd probably hit the crop key and just remove that. That's the simplest fix. Boom. Isolated. Really sharp. Now I want to bring down the brightness of this area. So what would I do? essentially I would just grab the levels adjustment layer, right? And I would pull in the midtone and pull down the white slider just a touch. Now it's doing it to the entire image, right? Because every layer affects everything all the way down. But this is a layer mask, right? If I click that mask, come up and click invert, now it's a black mask. Remember, black conceals, white reveals. So I just need to cut a hole in this mask around this hand and paper. So I need to make sure I'm on the brush tool by hitting B for brush. I need to switch my foreground and background because here I need to paint with white in the foreground on this black mask. Left bracket key. I want a big brush so it's not very obvious. And I'm just going to tap once at 100%. Tap again. Do you see how we push that down just so it's not so bright? And if you need it double strength, hit Command or Control J. That's too much. So now lower the opacity of that. Because notice it doubled the mask and everything. But now you can just, it's a slider drag to taste. And I'm just trying to de-emphasize this. I think this is ready to be saved out. Great work. Bang, bang, baby. It's a new day. Okay, so for this project, we're thinking of a light and airy Apple Music ad. And notice real quick, Command Spacebar to zoom in. Some designer has painted this yellow over the model's hair. So this is a contrived stock photo. It's going to affect us a touch, but not too much. I just wanted to point it out. But looking at it, I don't think it fits at all. I think that yellow contrasts in a bad way with the model's skin tone and the clothes that she's wearing. So what I would do is right away, hit Command or Control J, because I like to duplicate my layer to make sure I don't mess anything up. I'm going to grab the retouching brush right over here, which is called the spot healing tool. If you don't see it, remember just toggle it open and choose spot healing brush. And I'm going to get rid of these little red dots, which you should do as well. Done. I don't see anything else I really need to worry about. I want to select the background because I want to change the color of it. So here's a bonus. Select color range. And now I can click, see how as I move that, it shifts in a live manner. Because remember, white reveals, black conceals. And think of this as what this is a live mask. So if I hold down the shift key, see that plus sign by my eyedropper? I can now just drag around the scene and it's going to pick up all the light yellows, the dark yellows, the mid-tone yellows, kind of get all in this rock here, kind of get back here, kind of get right here. And it looks like I've gotten most everything. And then I would adjust the fuzziness and the range. See, watch what happens. See how the fuzziness really helps. How far can I pull that before I start to get stuff I don't want? Actually, it looks like I'm doing pretty good. There we go. Now I'm starting to get the shirt. I don't really want to get the shirt. I'm going to leave it there. 56 fuzziness, 63% range. You'll probably be something similar. I'm going to click OK. So now I have a marching ants selection. And if I just choose the hue saturation adjustment layer and click it, it gives me the adjustment layer with that built-in mask, which is perfect. Remember, if you hold down the Alt or Option key, you can view the mask. That mask looks okay. If I don't want this shirt to be chosen at all for right now, I can hit the B key for the brush. My foreground is black in the foreground color, which is great if I want to just clean this mask up on the inside, right? Left bracket key to make it smaller, like if I don't want any contamination there. Click on the eyeball to bring it back. Click on the hue saturation icon right there to load it in the properties. So now I can just drag the hue slider, and I think I'd like to make it a little warm. That's it. I'm just making it a little more warm. For me, I went to -23. Looks like I missed a little bit of yellow behind the finger. Nope, that's just reflected lighting, but that's okay. I'll click on that mask. Make a really small tool. I need to make sure my mode is in normal. Maybe drag this to 25%. I'm going to hit X. I want white to be in the foreground. See, I'm softening that pixelated edge, letting more of that orange wrap around the finger just a little bit. Maybe 5 for 50%. Kind of come in with a little bit of the orange right in here where that yellow is still there. Command 0. All right, so I like where this is going. So the next thing I would do is I would Command or Control click on that mask, add a levels adjustment layer. And remember, right now I'm still adjusting the background. I want to adjust the model, make the model just a touch darker. So I need to invert that mask, right? Because right now black reveals, white conceals. So what I want to do is I want to invert this. So I'm going to click on the mask, scroll, hit invert. So now when I click on that levels icon and I drag this, I'm just affecting the model. So that's what I want to do. I just want to bring the darkness of the model down just a touch. Maybe the whites here just a touch. Already I like that. Now you're going to grab your Apple Music logo and you can just click on the layer, drag it over to the tab that has the model in it, hover there until the new image shows up, and then pull down while you're still holding down the click and just drop the logo. Now it's a sandwich, right? I need the logo to be between the model and the wall. So I'm just going to drag it all the way down to here. And that's still not far enough, is it? Hey, I wanted to pause this video while I'm editing because I noticed I didn't say this exactly right. Because remember, I'm actually solving these visual problems on the fly. So essentially, that music logo should have been placed between the levels 1 area and the hue saturation area, right? Because the levels 1 is for the model and the hue saturation was for the wall. So I should have put it between those two layers. I didn't, and I didn't catch it, but that's okay. I'm showing you a whole nother way you can fix this. So what do? I actually need to go ahead and mask this logo. So what I'm going to do is which one was for the wall? That was this one, right? White reveals, black conceals. So hold down the Alt or Option key first, then click on the mask you want to duplicate, and then drag it to the layer you want it to be on, and it will duplicate and copy it simultaneously. Now here's the thing. When I click on that music icon mask and I move it around, do you see how basically it's clipped to whatever was there originally? I need to break the link between the mask and the icon because the mask is perfect. The wall and the model is never going to change, but I do need to change the location of the music logo. So I'm going to click this chain to make it disappear. Now they're not connected. So as long as the music logo is most selected by those white corners and I'm on the move tool, I can just move it wherever I want. I can hit Command or Control T to activate free transform and make it as big as I want. Hit enter. And remember, you can find free transform under Edit and free transform. This is your keyboard shortcut, one of the definite ones to learn. All right, so we're doing well. So let's add a little, I don't know, excitement to this. Let's go to the FX tab at the very bottom of your layers panel and choose bevel and emboss. And while I'm on that music layer, I'm going to hit Command or Control I, which is basically the invert. It invert a mask, it invert a color. This is black, so it should convert that to white. I really like that. And I'm going to choose a different blend mode as well. I think that's multiply, color burn. The soft light really picks up that texture of the wall. I'm not sure if I want that much texture. Yeah, there's a nice blend with the blend mode variations. I think ultimately multiply is the one I liked. It's the more subtle one. And if you need to readjust that bevel and emboss, see it's made a little outline form. Just click on the word bevel and emboss and it'll bring it right back up. So you can say, do I have my depth the way I want it? How's my opacity? Do I want to make it more subtle? On the shadow mode, how about the highlight mode? Do I want to make that brighter or more subtle? You have all these controls. You can practice with inner bevel. It gives you that more rectilinear. This gives you more rounded, softer edges. Chisel hard. That's really interesting. So I'm going to go back chisel soft. I think ultimately I like smooth. But there we go. That's all you have to do to tweak this design very quickly. Now let's push it all to the top layer. Command Option Shift letter E. And then duplicate it. Because I always like to, push it a little further. So what I'm going to do is for the first time, I'm going to pull you over to the Camera Raw filter. So this is for processing raw files. But the reason I like this so much is because this gives you a ton of extra controls right at your fingertips. So if I want to just, hey, I need a little more clarity and dehaze, which it's saturated a little bit, but I want to pull down the saturation just a touch. And do I need any texture? No, don't want any texture. Maybe I want to scroll down to effects so I can add some vignetting, something like that. And I don't want to do any color grading, but I will go back up to the basic and say, brighten up the shadows a bit, because this is supposed to be a bright and airy, but pull down those highlights. We don't want it to be, too garish. And now maybe pull up the vibrance, which is only going to saturate the things that aren't saturated to give it a more dynamic look. So let's see where we started. We started here. Do you see how this looks like fluorescently yellow and doesn't fit the skin color at all? And now this is a fairly calm, sophisticated ad where you're really seeing Apple Music. save it out. Hey, if you like this video and it helped, you can help me. Smack it, whack it, and crack-a-lack it. Take care. I like subscribers.
That's awesome! Whoa! Yes! Oh my god, I did! This is...
Hey, you stayed to the end. You know what that means. You're awesome. I'm talking about you. Now get out of here.